Because you're not British. How hard is it for you to understand?
So what is it you think I am?
You're a Pakistani man. You're from the Middle East.
Originally, he was ethnically Pakistani, and now his roots come from the Middle East somewhere. My God, man, I need to show this guy a map. I will never understand the fear of white people, of Anglo-Saxons in this case, as is what he's referring to, becoming a minority. I'll never understand that. Now, maybe it's because I grew up in Prince George's County and I've never lived in a community my whole life where the majority of people who live there are white. I went to school, the majority of my classmates were black, from elementary school all the way up through high school. The same for my 2 years at Prince George's Community College. And I could never imagine getting so angry because you look around and the faces are what, brown? What's so terrifying about that? What is it about the lack of melanin that you have that is so desirable that you just need everybody around you to have a lack of melanin? Because I can say that the people in Prince George's County, I can relate to 10 times more than people who live in, I don't know, Alaska but are majority white, or in Oklahoma but are majority white, or anywhere else and are majority white. And that's because I live in the local area. We use similar like words and phrases. We eat similar food. We listen to similar music. I can relate to people who are black in my community much more than I can relate to a white person in the middle of the country. So again, I could just never understand where this fear comes from about looking around and being, I need more melanin deficient people. I will never understand it. We were watching that one guy, James O'Brien, just like talk to callers, and we were having a blast, right? Now, this is not James O'Brien. This is another guy who happens to reside in the United Kingdom, was born and raised here, as far as I know, and was particularly born in England, which, if you have two brain cells to rub together, would mean that he's British and he's also English because he was born in England. So I want to show this interaction he has with a caller who for 10 minutes tries to assert that this man is not truly British and not truly English.
It's quite interesting you say that fish only accounts for 1% of GDP, but it's obviously very evocative because it's all everyone's talking about at the moment. No one's talking about the City of London or kind of food trucks going in and out, although you do hear some kind of you back and forth about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that the whole thing about fish is because it's relating to the waters surrounding this island and what is British waters and what
right.
people have access to.
Which is why it's not really about the fish, I suspect, Oswald. It's about the territorial waters.
It's about control. And I mean, most of the time, I think what people are really interested in, if you kind of zoom out the whole Brexit debate thing, is what will the government do when they take an action or they make a decision or they make a choice when they're negotiating? Will it either diminish the chance of ethnic Brits becoming a minority by 2066? Will it make that date further away?
Brits.
Are they interested in it? Do they know about it?
Okay, can I
understand.
just say something quick before we listen to this? I will never understand the fear of white people, of Anglo-Saxons in this case, as is what he's referring to, becoming a minority. If you believe that people of different racial groups can have similar cultures or could have similar beliefs or they're perfectly friendly neighbors, then I don't understand where this fear could come from. Like, why would I particularly need this person to have a lack of melanin as well to me? I'll never understand that. Now, maybe it's because I grew up in Prince George's County and I've never lived in a community my whole life where the majority of people who live there are white. I went to school, the majority of my classmates were black, from elementary school all the way up through high school. The same for my 2 years at Prince George's Community College. I'm going to the University of Maryland, so it's going to be different. But I'm used to that. And I could never imagine getting so angry because you look around and the faces are what, brown? What's so terrifying about that? What is it about the lack of melanin that you have that is so desirable that you just need everybody around you to have a lack of melanin? Because I can say that the people in Prince George's County, I can relate to 10 times more than people who live in, I don't know, Alaska, but are majority white, or in Oklahoma, but are majority white, or anywhere else and are majority white. And that's because I live in the local area. We use similar like words and phrases. We eat similar food. We listen to similar music. I can relate to people who are black in my community much more than I can relate to a white person in the middle of the country. So again, I could just never understand where this fear comes from about looking around and being, I need more melanin deficient people. I will never understand it.
Negotiating, will it either diminish the chance of ethnic Brits becoming a minority by 2066? Will it make that date further away? Are they interested in it? Do they know about it? Do they care about it?
I remember once I was eating Takis on a metro, and a white person walked, oh, wait, thank you. And a white person looked at me, looked at the Takis, and they said, why are you eating that? Like, why are you eating that? And I was like, what do you mean? It was like, that's not like, why are you eating? And he like referred to it as like ghetto food. And I was like, what does that even mean? It's a chip. I have no clue what that even means. What, are my chips ethnically not white? My chips were not ethnically Caucasian enough. What did I need to eat? Did I need to like go to like the hills of Germany and hunt wild pigs to eat a true white man's meal? Because I was eating Fuego Takis? It was absolutely ridiculous experience. And the person looked like, the person looked embarrassed after I said, what is that? What do you even mean? It was like, never mind. Fucking hell.
I didn't understand also what you say. What diminish the chance of ethnic Brits? Sorry, I don't get what you mean. Could you rephrase that?
So ethnic Brits are currently on course to become a minority by 2066, roughly thereabouts.
What's an ethnic Brit, Oswald? What do you mean by that?
English, Welsh, Scots, and Irish.
So am I English?
No, you're a Pakistani man.
Well, I was born in England, and England's a country. So am I English?
So what's your ethnicity?
Well, that's not what I'm asking you, though, because Anglo-Saxon
that's what I'm asking you.
But English is not in my head an ethnicity. English is a country. And hold on, Oswald, let me tell you what I think. Anglo-Saxon is an ethnicity, and England is a country. So I'm wondering because, by the way, there's no such ethnicity as Pakistani either, Oswald. Pakistan was a country created in 1947 out of about 5 ethnicities.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not a learned historian about the past of
Well,
your
you don't have to
country
apologise for... Well, it's not my country. Britain's my country, Oswald. I was born here.
I'll put the question directly to you, Maajid.
Well, you're more than welcome to, but before this conversation carries on, can you accept that Britain is my country?
I don't think you belong here, to be honest, Maajid. I think you're a subversive globalist.
A subversive globalist! The interesting thing about this interaction is he originally tries to, like... he originally goes after him. And he's like, well, the thing is, you're not even British. Well, I was born here. I lived here. Well, your ethnicity is Pakistani. Pakistan was created in 1947. I don't think you have as much of a grasp on this as you want. And so he shifts to, well, it's because not only are you brown, but also you like free trade. Well, then, okay. Well, that's strange because the last time for you like free trade and you believe in like what global institutions, like, okay, well, a lot of people don't know this, but there could be many different types of globalists. There can be globalists who are just 100% free trade people. There could be globalists who believe in the United Nations. There are people who believe in complete free trade but hate the United Nations. So there are globalists who are in the Tory party. But I also find it very interesting, very strange that I have an inkling that if I pointed at Tory party members who you could easily classify as globalists due to their position on things like free trade, he would not be as quick to jump to, well, you're not a true British man. You're not a true English man. I've never heard a caller so clearly and obviously just be so angry that the brown man is here. It's so clear.
Well, that's interesting, but whether or not you think I'm a subversive globalist, and aside from whether it's true, because I'm not even going to bother to get into that conversation, just check out my views on corporatism, global corporatism, and
yes, you stated you're a globalist. Yes, that's correct.
That was a joke about 4 years ago, but that's a different point, Oswald. The point is, whether or not I hold that view or not, how does that negate being British? I mean, there are white people that are globalists that you'd still consider British. So I'm wondering why a falsely attributed view to me, even if you were correct, means I'm not British.
Are you happy with ethnic Brits becoming a minority in their own country?
No, that's not
He doesn't want to answer the question because he knows he looks like a racist fuck.
Well, first answer my question, and then I'll answer your question.
You answer that question.
Well, I'm afraid you don't get to dictate the terms of this conversation on this show.
That's what people want to hear. They want to hear people like you who have a voice in media. They want to hear you answer that question.
I don't think anybody wants to hear it. I don't think there's this deep, bellowing anger. There's like, what we need is we need this man to answer on television his opinion on white people becoming a minority. Because the vast majority of people are gonna say, I don't know, I don't care. It's not really something I think about too terribly often. It was like if somebody asked me about the price of tea in China. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. It's not really something that affects my daily life. The same thing for him, and the same thing for most people.
You think people want to hear. Could you first do me the courtesy of responding to why you think that if a white person held globalist views, you'd still consider them British, but if a brown person incorrectly attributed holds globalist views, you would... No, but then why is it... Well, I don't know. I'm asking you why you don't think I've got the right to call myself British.
Your ethnic roots come from the Middle East somewhere.
That's not what I asked you, Oswald. Why do you think I don't have the right to call myself British?
Originally, he was ethnically Pakistani, and now his roots come from the Middle East somewhere. My God, man, I need to show this guy a map.
Because you're not British. How hard is it for you to understand?
So what is it you think I am?
You're a Pakistani man. You're from the Middle East.
But I don't have a Pakistani passport.
Oh, so a piece of paper dictates your ethnic origin now,
No, but Oswald, we've already agreed Pakistani is not an ethnicity. Why are you telling me I'm of the Pakistani ethnicity?
I'm not a geneticist who can tell you about the Middle East and the roots of people from the Middle East.
That's right.
Again, it's not the Middle East.
So can you agree that England is a country, like Scotland is a country, and the ethnicity, what you're really trying to say, and then we can actually have a conversation. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about it, but I think what you're really trying to say is that you're worried that white Anglo-Saxons are being stigmatized or discriminated against or could end up being a minority. Now, that is a legitimate conversation I can have with you, but you can't tell me.
It's not really a legitimate conversation, but you could have it with him. I mean, I guess.
That I'm not British and then want to have that conversation with me because you've already delegitimized my view as far as I'm concerned. So there's no point in me having that chat with you. Do you see?
Look, I mean, this is the view of every single nation in the world has its own ethnic people. And
yeah, Oswald, I'm not disputing that. I'm questioning your definition of English as an ethnicity because England is a country. If England were to break away from Scotland, right? That's a country, yeah? Now, people can be English because they're members of that country, but what I suspect you mean is you're worried about the plight of white Anglo-Saxons in England. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, basically.
Yeah, so can we agree on terms for this debate? Because I can't talk to somebody that doesn't think I have a legitimate view and a stake in my country.
You can have a legitimate view, but that doesn't change your ethnicity.
Oswald, you're losing the point. If we're both equals in this country as English and British... I know you don't...
Why is he so stuck up on this? Why is he so held up on him being just so angry that this guy could be classified as English?
I don't think you are an equal in this country.
I know you don't, Oswald. I'm saying...
does he think that people who have German passports aren't German? They are members of the German country. They are German. There's a difference between being ethnically Anglo-Saxon, being a white man, and being a member of a country.
If we both think I'm equal to you in this country as both a British person and an English person, though not Anglo-Saxon, right? You would respect any view I offer you as to the future of white Anglo-Saxon people in this country as an equal view to yours because I have an equal stake in this country as a British or English person. But if you don't accept that I have an equal stake in this country as a Briton or an English person in the country of England, there's no point having a conversation with you because you're not going to accept...
Okay, no. He's wrong here, though. Because from a white nationalist perspective, the response would be, you do have a stake on how this country turns out, but you don't necessarily have a stake on how the community of white Anglo-Saxons turn out because you are not white Anglo-Saxon. He would just pivot to a type of white community or whatever the hell.
Accept what I say anyway, even if I'm right, because you think I don't belong here. So the question is really, Oswald, if you mean white Anglo-Saxon people, and you can accept that I am a Briton and an Englishman in the country of England, I'm happy to carry on, even though the switchboard is bursting with people trying to get through. I'm happy to carry on this conversation with you, but you would have to agree that I have an equal premise and a stake in this country first.
You may have, Maajid, a stake in this country.
No, equal. Oswald, don't try and pull the wool over our eyes. Equal, please. Equal. Am I equal to you in this country as an Englishman?
Listen, no, you just changed the question. You've asked two different questions.
No, because they're all the same. Am I an equal Brit, an equal Englishman with an equal stake?
Maajid, you're not British. You're not British. I'm sorry.
I know you believe that, Oswald. I'm sorry to tell you this. You don't have to apologise.
Okay, I have the test. I can figure out if he's an equal Englishman. Let me just look at his face. So what's this guy's name? I have a test, guys. I can do this. I look at images of the man, okay? Okay, here's an image of the man. Maybe we get open this here, okay? Now? Let's see. Okay. It matches up pretty hardcore. Okay, yep. He's English. That's all I needed.
Group 1B?
Sir,
No, because I feel sorry for you, because
Oswald, I'm trying to work out... I know you feel sorry for me, and I'm not angry at you. I'm trying to work out why you're confusing the ethnicity of being white Anglo-Saxon with the membership of a country called England.
So, say that again.
So... I don't think you actually genuinely understand what I'm trying to say to you, Oswald. I'm not angry with you, because I've spoken to people with your views many times, right? I'm trying to understand why you cannot distinguish between ethnicity in the sense of a white Anglo-Saxon group. And I'm perfectly happy to have that conversation with you, because I do think working class white Anglo-Saxons in this country have been terribly hard done by. In fact, if you stay tuned... And stop. Oswald, wait, stop. No, Oswald, I'm sorry, but you don't get to set the rules in this conversation. If you stay tuned for the next hour, you will hear me defending the Millwall fans. Right? So, in fact...
Aren't those the people who booed the... Oh, gosh. I might actually... Well, whatever.
I'm incredibly critical, including, by the way, in environments I regularly mix in, of white liberals failing to understand the white working classes, and you will hear me talk about that in the next hour. But that is a separate conversation. White Anglo-Saxons and their plight in this country is a separate conversation to insisting that I'm not English or I'm not British. And I'm hoping, Oswald, that you can pass the labels you're attaching to that from the idea where we may actually end up agreeing with a bit more than you think I would, if you could just stop calling me names like you're not British, you're not English. Is that fair, Oswald?
No, I'm not calling you names.
Come on, don't get distracted, man. Forget that I said names. Don't get distracted. Stay focused.
Right, but
Stay
taken
focused.
offence at it.
No, I'm not offended at all, Oswald. I've told you 3 times I'm not offended.
Names.
No, sir, I said forget the names bit. Stay focused, yeah?
Okay,
right. Labels. Cool. Use the word labels if you like. The question is, can I be a member of the country of England?
Well, you can live here and you can have a passport here, but that doesn't go into...
Can I be an equal member? I know it doesn't. Can I be an equal member of the country of England?
An equal member? What does that even mean?
Equal to you as a citizen.
Well, if you're talking about the fact you probably own property here and have a passport...
Oswald, listen, you know what you've just done? You know what you've done? You've damaged your cause incredibly, because you had an opportunity right now to speak to somebody...
He gave him, and the thing is, I'll see most callers when you talk about like James O'Brien and you look at the other, and I don't know why I'm listening to so much British radio recently. But if you listen to it, the calls like go for 3 to 5 minutes. This guy got like 8 minutes and 45 seconds. That is much more than most people get.
Who's not angry, to speak to somebody who was going to be rational with you, to speak to somebody that was giving you a chance, more so than anyone else, because you've had the entire segment of 15 minutes, we've got to go to the news. I was giving you a chance to articulate.
I don't think a lot of people understand, because the thing is, while of course, 100%, this guy is British, and he's English. He lives in the UK, he has the passport, he pays taxes, he has the house, he's everything that you really need to be those two things. The problem is for any white nationalist or white supremacist, and this applies for like white nationalists and white supremacists in the United States as well, is that if you are brown, if you are black, if you are Asian, if you are South American, if you're anything that isn't the white nuclear family model, then you're not truly American. Or you're not truly English, you're not truly Scottish, you're not truly British, Irish, German, whatever. Even if the only difference between you and anybody else around you is your melanin levels. Such a ridiculous classification to make, I'd say like, you can't be a part of this country because of the way you look. Ridiculous always. Of course it is, but so it has been. And a big thing I always hear is like, well, Dylan, it's not that we hate black people or brown people, it's that I just care about social cohesion. But then you'll check the hottest flashpoints in this country, the people who are hurting social cohesion the most, and who is it? Far-right terror groups. White nationalists. Supremacists of any ilk. They are at every hotspot of the breaking down of social cohesion in this country. Charlottesville, the storming of the Capitol, etc. If they really cared about social cohesion, then the many white nationalists and white supremacists who were involved in the January 6th storming of the Capitol and insurrection attempt wouldn't have been there if you cared about social cohesion, because that was a huge blow to social cohesion. So was Charlottesville. Absolutely ridiculous. It's not about social cohesion. It never has been. It's about the fact that brown people make them uncomfortable.